Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the final installment in the Speedrun walkthrough guide. As you can see, we have made a change to our roster where we have Black Panther as a member of the party. That is because there are some very specific things to the New Game Plus run and the ISO loadout that we have on Black Panther that make this a critical point of focus. For the New Game run or the New Game No Buffs runs, what you're going to need to do is get through these fights as quickly as you can, and some of what we outline here is going to be pertinent to that. However, Black Panther is imperative to the New Game Plus run and really fully flushes out the strategies that we are going to go over and the strategies that you would use in any portion of the run. Just so you have a reminder of what ISOs we are running on Black Panther for optimal use, we have this one, which is perhaps one of the most important ISOs that you can put on him, of in reverse of HP recovery, a 1 second or 1% of your ability damage done as HP recovered, which because of the previous thing will reverse that, but most importantly, an increase to damage done by 300% at the cost of an increase to damage taken by 200%. And these other ISOs that we have really help just make him attack a lot more efficiently, from the resistance to being attacked or being interrupted while attacking, reduction by a significant margin, as well as damage increased by weapons deployed by the stage. This one is also a really good one if you have cleared out all of the gauntlets, because it gives you an additional 43% attack boost. And then, of course, we have ability damage increases by 20.2%. So a lot of really good stuff here on Black Panther. But what you're going to need to do, at least initially here, is you'll need to make sure that you have your Nightcrawler at the front of your party. All of these opponents that we are walking by right now are optional enemies, and you are not going to get to the first mandatory point of combat until you get past this point, at which point in the New Game Plus run you can switch over to Thanos Infinite, and you can draw all of those opponents into one central location, then quickly switch over to Black Panther and swipe through the rest of them. Now you will see that I walked into a health recovery orb with Black Panther and that completely depleted his health, but that is fine as we will be recovering our health before we go into the first fight of this boss rush gauntlet. So right as we get to the top of the stairs here, we are fully refreshed, and you'll want to again use Nightcrawler to approach the first fight, which is Ebony Maw. Now there is a specific facet of Black Panther's kit that is really useful for the Ebony Maw fight. There's a cutscene there that you need to skip, and then since we have all of these boosts, we can rush in, we can use the Vibranium Slash to get quickly through Ebony Maw's first stage of his attack, and then he levitates up here, and if you quickly release the aerial button with Black Panther, you can make very quick work of Ebony Maw. This may be worth switching Black Panther onto your team for the other runs in this game because of his ability to do that. Otherwise, there aren't really any opponents that are able to hit Ebony Maw or even do that amount of damage to him if you are able to do damage to him. So you may want to consider switching Black Panther onto your team. I haven't fully explored that option, but there may be some merit to that for the other runs. Next up, we have Supergiant. Supergiant is, I think, one of the more frustrating boss fights in this section here. And it's mainly due to the fact that the second phase of her attack allows her to bring in opponents that explode. So you need to be cautious about that. But again, here with the New Game Plus run, the strategy is to just rush in with Black Panther and get as many of those attacks as you can as quickly as possible to get through that fight. The next fight is a little bit trickier because it's Cull Obsidian, and he is particularly annoying on the New Game runs and the New Game No Buff runs because he hits exceptionally hard. But again, you'll want to approach this fight with Nightcrawler, and upon making your way past that lip, you'll be sent into the fight against Cull Obsidian. Now, outside of a New Game Plus fight, there's a couple of charges that'll be dropped down from the ceiling whenever Cull Obsidian hits the ground particularly hard. And that allows us to throw them at him to wear down his stagger bar a little bit quicker than we would otherwise have. But again, we're going to want to continue to layer into him with our Vibranium Slash attack from Black Panther, and that will make very quick work of Cull Obsidian. Again, as long as you're aware of what you need to do for that fight in a New Game Plus setting, you should be fine, or a New Game setting and a New Game no buff setting, you shouldn't really have any issues with attacking into Cull Obsidian. It's just a matter of being familiar with how to aim those projectiles and get the most yield out of them, because they are going to be the best option for dropping Cull Obsidian's stagger bar. It's not the best option for dealing damage to Cull Obsidian, so once you're past that, you'll want to rush in, use a synergy attack to fully stun the opponent as opposed to just stagger them. But apart from that, those are the biggest facets of that attack or that combat section that you're going to need to be aware of. Having Nightcrawler preset here is going to get you into this next fight a little bit quicker. This is the Corvus Glaive fight, which he has a couple of reality clones that you can make some pretty quick work of. And once you've made your way through Cull Obsidian's clones, it should be a fairly straightforward endeavor to attack into him elsewise. But here, you have all of these shadow clones coming in, and you can defeat them, and it can encourage Cull Obsidian to get, or not Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive to come back down to the battlefield a little bit faster than he otherwise would. And from there, you just got to continue layering into him. He will occasionally retreat from the battlefield in any circumstance, but particularly in the New Game and New Game no buff runs is where that gets particularly annoying. Specifically because it is an unavoidable time loss if he does decide to retreat into the sky, and he has a very lengthy attack sequence there. It may be a run killer in certain circumstances, but you've just got to be aware of that being a possibility. Alright, let's go ahead and attack into Proxima Midnight here. And this is really the only fight that you have in the second phase where the opponents will continue to be summoned in. Apart from that, you don't have any of these opponents that make appearances throughout these boss rush fights. And right there, we've made quick work of them again. This can be particularly difficult in the no buff runs, but apart from that, she's one of the more straightforward fights out there. From here, we get warped over to... I don't think that this is the Heart of Infinity because we visit that later specifically for the fight with Thane. But making our way up this ramp here gets us to the Thanos fight. Now, Thanos can be particularly annoying with a couple of the attacks he throws out, specifically the time freeze attacks where he pulls... where he combos it with this attack where he pulls in attacks from out of the sky and rains down these power meteorites. Okay, and making our way away from Thanos there, we do end up making our way through this without seeing his time stop ability, but he likes to combo that with the ability of raining those meteors down out of the sky, so you have to be cautious with that. Here we have the Heart of Infinity. That is a cutscene that you can skip, so there are 2 cutscenes back to back there. And now you need to attack into Thane in 6 different cycles, 5 of which are in this particular arraignment. And the rest are, or the last one is after the fact. And if you get caught in this amber, you will need to mash on the buttons in order to break free of it, because if he hits you while you are encased in that amber, you are going to take massive amounts of damage. But here, when Thane enters this second phase, that's the lengthiest of the animations you'll see, though he does gain invulnerability between the different sections. And that gets us into the next section here, which, again, Black Panther making very quick work of Thane here with 2 different uses of his Vibranium Slash. And what you'll want to try and do is have avoid taking as much damage as you can, so you can end up using Black Panther to deliver the finishing blow after the reset as well. So here comes the second to last section where we attack through him, and that is not the ending point because he has an additional combat section where he gets revived and has some extra health. So be mindful of that because it's only after you defeat him after that animation that you can call time on your run. And if we use our Vibranium Slash here, oh, and if I can get out of that amber, that's alright. We ended up not having the use of that as much as I would have liked, but if we attack into Thane, that's going to be the end. This was, of course, not an actual run that we needed to pay a lot of attention to, but you now know the general structure for these fights as well as the other fights throughout the game. I've placed all of these sections in a playlist so you can watch them back to back and get continuous feedback in it, or you can check out the playlist to find a particular section of the game that you are struggling with. We will revisit this series a little bit later once I have fleshed out some of the better strategies for the DLC, which that is getting added to the speedrun.com website very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.